Spicy, spicy. Let's fucking burn it down. Hey guys and gals, this is Alex from A&R Design. We just want to do a quick quick and dirty for the M2.0 2.0 Performance Center Compact. I think I might have up a spring somewhere. That slide stop is loud. Whatever, it still works. You watched our first video on this. I wanted to talk a little bit more about it since I've had more time behind it. The M2.0 2.0 Performance Center Smith & Wesson carry comp is really pretty. I think the frame is really pretty. The slide is really pretty. Everything's really pretty on it. I did talk about the optic plate system that I thought it needs to be improved from plastic to not plastic. I did upgrade this gun a little bit since you last saw it. I put in Ed Brown a guide rod assembly. It uses a little Allen key at the end. You spin it out and you can swap springs. So I did put 11-pound flat wire springs in here, which are a little bit better for target shooting and makes it a softer felt recoil. It's a lot smoother, a lot faster to shoot, like 115 to 124 grain target loads through it. The factory spring is better for higher pressure loads, but target spring would be the 11-pound flat wire on the Ed Brown website, it was cheap, affordable, and it's a really rock solid setup. I didn't put Loctite on it. I have not had the end cap of the guide rod back out. The other thing I did was order a Overwatch Precision spring kit. When I got that spring kit, I installed it because Overwatch does sell just springs if you want to keep your factory trigger. And it made the gun feel great, but I was still having the issue where the factory trigger had a very rearward reset, did not have a forward reset. And I didn't like that. Overwatch Precision has their TAC trigger, the TAC trigger. The FALX trigger, Falx trigger, is more curved and has a rearward reset. So if you do like rearward resets on your pistol, definitely check out that trigger. This is the TAC trigger. It has a much more forward reset, flat face, and I like it. When I press the trigger on the gun, my finger is more forward than the factory trigger, which allows me to not hook the trigger as much, having to do a reset at the back of the receiver. And in this case, it's more forward. So I really like it. Now, don't do what I did. I stupidly bought the spring kit, and nobody, including Overwatch and Apex, sell just the trigger and trigger bar. Everyone sells it as a package deal, springs and trigger. So if you don't like your rearward reset of the factory trigger, don't make the mistake I did and only buy just springs, because no one sells this little doodad by itself. And not saying there's anything wrong with that. I was lucky enough to speak with the Overwatch team. I said, hey, I'm trying to make this gun shoot better, and I messed up and I ordered the wrong thing. And they were cool. So I was able to purchase a trigger. Now, I'm not saying that'll work for everybody, but the Overwatch Precision customer service team was absolutely fantastic. And they made me a customer for life with the way they handled it. This compared to like an Apex trigger, I grew up, my first pistol ever was an M2.0 1.0, and I had an Apex trigger kit in it. Apex makes great triggers. I don't have any experience with Apex triggers in the new 2.0 models of M&P. I am not going to buy an Apex trigger kit because I have an Overwatch Precision trigger and spring kit. So I'm not gonna really go through the minutia details of figuring out which one shoots better. In this case, I'm just gonna run this awesome Overwatch, and shout out to Overwatch Precision for being really cool. So with those two modifications in mind, the gun shoots and resets really nicely. The factory trigger with the spring kit had a little bit more of a smooth release than the Overwatch trigger, but I like how the Overwatch trigger is a little bit more deliberate and tactile. It's not as soft and you don't feel those walls as much with the factory trigger. One thing to note with the factory trigger too, if you have to take your trigger shoe out for any reason, or take your trigger bar and trigger out, that factory trigger plastic is super soft. So if you are putting your pin back through and your slave pin moves too much, you can actually bend the hinge section of the trigger like I did and smush it into a flat pancake. Don't do that. So these aftermarket aluminum triggers are way better. Thank you for watching this video with the M2.0 2.0 comp carry comp Smith & Wesson performance. It's the longest title ever of a pistol, metal frame. But the Overwatch precision trigger is awesome. I really like it. Having the ability to swap out my flat wire springs is awesome. I advise you do that and match your springs to the loads you're running. As for value, this is a $1,000 pistol. Do I think this is a $1,000 pistol? Having the aluminum frame only increases the weight by about an ounce. That's not a lot of weight. I wish it was a steel frame. I think a steel frame MP would be way better, and the whole world wants steel frames, so stop making more aluminum frames, make a steel frame. It's a pretty gun, but the compensator really doesn't do much. And if you chose this gun and were like, oh, I'm gonna shoot it in USPSA carry optics, you are now being classified as an open shooter because you have a ported barrel on your gun, so you can't shoot carry optics with this gun. So this is more of kind of like an expensive, niche, cool looking gun that you can't really compete with unless you want to be an open class. And it's really loud and the compensator doesn't compensate very well. So you are paying $900 for a really cool looking gun, but the metal frame really doesn't change much in terms of like the weight and the balance in the gun. And that's that. So I'll let you guys make your own decision. Have you picked one up? Do you like it? And would you buy the metal frame knowing that it doesn't really benefit you at all, in my opinion, over a polymer frame? Let us know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate it. Thank you.